Hello everyone. I'm going to talk a little bit about Zoom and how to set your Zoom client up for optimal audio for doing online music exchange lessons and stuff like that. So let's get started. The first thing that you have to do is go into your preferences for Zoom, and you'll see there's a bunch of them going across the top here. With general preferences, I tend to keep these as the default, so I haven't really changed any of them, and I don't think you're going to have to either. What we're trying to do is to maximize our audio fidelity, so I'll go right into the next settings here. You have audio. You can use these settings here for testing, just to get your actual level. So for my mic, I'm speaking into my lavalier mic at the moment, and if I wanted to test it, if I would click this and it would record it and play it back for me. That's how you test your mic, and you would want to adjust the volume of your microphone using this slider, but not click on this. If you clicked on this, automatically adjust microphone settings. That's a sort of compressor device which we do not want to use since it upsets the balance of our music. So the best thing to do is to play your trombone into your microphone and then adjust this accordingly so that the volume of it does not overload. You don't want to get into this, all the way to the top of this thing. You can also adjust the output volume so that you can mix your sound with the sound of the person on the other end of this experience. I like to have this open, automatically join audio by computer when joining a meeting, so I don't have to deal with the dialogue that asks me whether I want to call in by telephone. Obviously, we're not going to be doing any telephone calls, so join audio by computer. I uncheck this box, always mute microphone, because most of the time it's just two of us and you want to have your microphone open the entire time. I enable stereo, although this is not going to be in stereo, since to have that you have to pay the $15 a month to have Zoom Pro. Now, here's the most important thing to check. Allow option for using original sound from microphone in meeting. Definitely check this, because this will defeat the anti-noise and automatic muting feature that Zoom has built in. Zoom is designed as a system for teleconferencing large groups together. So they might have a meeting of 50 people or something. That's not at all what we're doing. So imagine if you had 50 people, you would want to minimize totally the background noise that comes through your microphone, especially when multiple people are talking. It could just be overwhelming, the amount of sound. Without even really saying it, they automatically default to the setting where they are trying to squelch background noise and also applying compression to the audio. We don't want any of that because we want to control that manually. So click this or check this box, allow option for using original sound from microphone in meeting. I uncheck this space key because you're not really going to be muting yourself generally with what we're doing. Now here's the video setting. For the video, my camera is not set for widescreen, so I have it on original ratio. You can set it for widescreen if you like, it doesn't matter. Disable HD. This will free up a lot more bandwidth for audio. So if you have this choice, disable HD. Enable mirror effects unless you just want to go nuts looking at yourself doing everything opposite of what you're doing. So check this. And when you see a recording of your Zoom session, it will not have the mirror effect. You will see what the other person sees. Touch Up My Appearance is just like soft focus. If I hit this, it kind of lowers the sharpness factor, so I don't bother with it. Always display participants' names on their videos. That's becomes quite necessary when you have a lot of people. We're generally just going to have two, so we don't need that. Turn off my video when joining a meeting. I uncheck that because we are generally doing this, again, one-on-one, and we want our video on. Hide non-video participants, again, not necessary. Spotlight my video when I speak. I check that so that when I'm in spotlight mode, it will show me talking. It helps for doing recordings. This is unnecessary. 49 participants in gallery view. We're not going to be dealing with that, so I uncheck that. Virtual background, you can, if you have a green screen, you can set whatever background you like. I have a green screen, but I'm not using it right now. Recording, I like to choose this record a separate audio file for each participant who speaks. The reason for that is because I can mix them later. And often the natural mix that comes from Zoom is not what I'm listening to during my live session. It sounds really weird. It sounds like my friend is much louder than I am. And so I like to remix it using my mixing software. Optimize for third-party video editor. I also check that because for me, I'm going to be putting these things into Final Cut, which is right down here. And by the way, Logic Pro is what I use to mix the audio. So these two programs are what I'm using after the fact to process my recordings. So you can do this too, even if you're not hosting the event, as long as the event host, which is going to be me in most cases, allows you to record. So you'll be able to do this stuff. I do not add a timestamp. I don't think it's necessary, but you can if you want. Record video during screen sharing. Yes, that's why I have my little face here. Place video next to the shared screen in the recording. I don't do that, but you can. I haven't really gone much further into this. The advanced features just opens up a browser window, which if you want to look at, you're welcome to, but it goes much beyond what we're doing here. So that's, in essence, the setup from preferences. Now, if we go back to our meeting here, I'm going to just stop sharing my my screen. Now it should just look like my video. Here's what I see when I'm looking at my Zoom window. Here's the important thing. Once we've checked in the preferences, you remember we were just doing that, allow the option to use original sound. That's the Zoom word, original sound, for dry, or meaning unprocessed microphone. You don't want the sound to be processed using their denoiser or using their compressor. You just want it to be the original sound from your mic. So we want it on, and if I turned it off, then they would start processing it. And this is okay for speech, but when we're playing music, it's not okay. So always have original sound on. So up here it says turn off. That means it's on. That's great. I'm recording. This down here is where you choose to do your recording. As long as it's enabled by the host, you're allowed to record just like I am. This is how you share your screen. I just click on this, and then it gives me options of what I want to share. I can share my desktop like I did before, or I can share various windows that happen to be open. Over here, I can either mute my audio, or I can check a different audio source. I've got a bunch of them here with my computer. Or I can switch my video off or change my camera, choose virtual background, whatever. If I were to stop the video right now, this is what you'd see. You'd see my avatar. I start the video up again, and we're live. If you're running your own Zoom session, this is how you invite people in. You click this, and then if you have a list of contacts, you just type them in. It would be over here where your contacts list is. Otherwise, and this is what I generally do, I just copy the URL, and then I send that off. Or I just go by email, and if I click on this, it'll automatically send directly from my Gmail account, which is the one I usually use for my lessons. So no problem there. That's how you invite people in. And all they need to do is just click on that link. That then takes them to a browser page, which will probably open up their Zoom app. If they don't have the app, it'll just download it and start it up on their computer, and they'll be running the app just like you. I also have, in the advanced options, I have the option for people to use the browser version. Now, the browser version of Zoom doesn't have nearly the flexibility that we have with the app version, so I strongly suggest that you use the computer app version. If you end up using the iOS app on an iPad or an Android app, or an iPhone or an Android phone, one of those mobile apps, they work great, but they don't have this option of original sound, unfortunately. So you're going to be sort of stuck with their processed sound. So the best option, of course, is to use a computer, either a laptop or a desktop, and then you get all of this functionality. So that's our walkthrough with using Zoom for music lessons online, and I hope this was helpful. Thank you. See you soon.